Hey, this is Keith Gibbs with Fayetteville Comic Con. I am here just trying to chilling in my home studio today as we get some promos and pre-records done for Fayetteville Comic Con Live. Our nod at the fact that we aren't able to do our rescheduled spring show next Saturday and Sunday. Was scheduled for June 27th and 28th at the Crown Expo Center in Fayetteville. We're still under some statewide restrictions for gathering. Hope everybody is safe. Hope everybody is good. But I'm kind of excited today just to be sitting here and talking a little bit and geeking out. And one of the big supporters of our con, and somebody that a lot of you fans know already through Power Rangers in cyberspace, as well as independent stuff that Christian Ingram, the Power Rangers guy, is known for. So Christian's joining me here as kind of a practice run for me, but it may just get broadcast exactly like this. Who knows? We'll see how good it turns out. So, hey, Christian, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Doing extremely well. Tell me a little bit about what you've been up to. I know you've had a great opportunity to take advantage of some isolation while you've been while we've all been kind of restricted in our travels, and you've been doing some great stuff, great interviews with people from the Power Rangers canon, as well as some other stuff. Just give me an idea what's going on, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a blessing in disguise as much as it's been a terrible thing, COVID-19. But I got to recently start a new show, a live stream show called The Ranger Experience, where I interview different people in the fandom. I've gotten to work a lot more on videos. I'm actually working with like some anime people as well. I've recently started taking a class with the voice actor from of Ty from Digimon Digital Monsters. I'm working with him on trying to get my voice better, but like it's been so much that I thought I would just be laid back and just chill. And this whole time it's been more busy than it would be if nothing had happened.
And I think that's definitely the case when you get into routine like we all were, last year, 2019. I can remember, what I was doing a week before my show in the fall, but I also remember what I was doing before GalaxyCon, before Animazement last spring. As a geek and a fan of conventions and a lot of different fandoms, I find that my calendar used to be scheduled by really, what shows we were doing. It got a little bit more complex in the fall when my oldest daughter went off to her freshman year of college, and now I'm figuring out how to get her back down off the mountain from Boone, and can we still make Ichiban Con? Can we still make some of these other shows that we really enjoy doing? And then everything kind of came to a screeching halt. And I think as we all shifted our attention, you especially have gone in a great direction, knowing that, we still have fans that want content. So talk a little bit more about the voice training. I know that, we have so many fans at Fayetteville Comic Con that are interested in meeting voice actors, and not just meeting voice actors who are representative of characters that they really love, whether it's in the Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon or Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z universe, or Bleach. We have a great, Megan Hollinshead, a great voice actor from Bleach, will be on our show live next Saturday at closer in I think it's closer to the 8 o'clock hour, but we're opening our show next Saturday at 4 o'clock with Veronica Taylor, live with Veronica Taylor, who's been a great guest of the Fayetteville Comic Con. I see that you have a Pikachu up over your shoulder there, maybe a little Pikachu balloon.
Yeah, Pikachu balloon. I got that for my birthday, but yeah, so many great voice actors. Actually during COVID, I got to talk to a few of them. I think I talked to you about Brian Donovan, who did Rockley and Davis and Digimon. Joshua Seth, who is training me, the voice acting training. Not that I'm bad at what I do. I don't think I'm bad at it, but it's always good to improve. And funny thing is, you never think you're breathing wrong until someone says, "Hey, you're breathing wrong." And it's just one thing you don't think about. And I've done the breathing is the main thing we've been working on. We're still in week 1, but what we did with that, like the techniques he showed me, it's helped out a lot. My voice sounds incredible after I do some of these techniques, and it's just the little things that you don't think about. And like me doing this for 3 years, like I would have never thought I was doing like breathing wrong, but hey, that's why you take classes.
Absolutely. And I took a couple, I've always thought that when you speak and you speak well and you have a thing, but you do notice when somebody points it out that you're whistling a little bit when you inhale, or exhaling stuff. And some of those things are really critical when you're not in a conversational situation, when you're actually in a performance situation. And I think that's great that you're learning some of that tactic. Can you expand on a little bit of that from what other kind of just clues and things they've taught you? Because I believe that if you have a desire to do something, you should go about doing it. But one of the best ways to go about doing it is finding people who are already doing it. So, Christian, just keep talking about the experience of learning a little bit more about how best to use your voice.
So when I interviewed him for my podcast, he had talked about doing it, and I was like, yeah, I'll definitely sign up. Not bad. It was $100 for the class, and it's just so much information because, as many people know, he's an amazing voice actor. But like the techniques he teaches you, like just posture. He's like, hey, don't breathe into your chest because that's a half breath. You need to make sure you don't suck in your gut, because a lot of people they walk around with their gut sucked in, so they don't look fat. And he's like, nah, dude, you got to get your breath deep in there. Let your stomach poke out. And it's just like, I've never thought about things like that. I'm like, God, I've been doing all this stuff wrong this whole time. And I've been doing this podcast stuff and content creator 3+ years. And I didn't think about like my lung capacity and just like the little things. The little things really help out, and it makes you shine through, I think. And that's what he's been teaching us.
I definitely get it. And the visual, like when you're doing an interview like you and I are doing, you can kind of get emotion and character from just how you're presenting yourself and how you're talking to the screen. But when you are doing a voiceover, or when you're doing a podcast only without video and stuff, there's a whole lot that you need to, even if it's subconsciously, communicate to the people on the other side of that transmission, right? To make sure that you're delivering what the meaning of something that they're actually saying, whether it's snark or whether it's sarcasm or whether it's passion or whether it's deep emotion, sadness, happiness, joy. All those things definitely come out, and it's great. And I love seeing people figure out how to use their voice as an instrument, right? It's like you talked about, not restricting your inhalation. That's like, muting the cap on a trumpet or something, right? You don't get all the control of that full sound. So some instant applications you found have been successful?
Yeah, I think it's like huge breathing technique is the one that's really helped the most. And then there's another technique, I forgot what he called, but the huge breathing technique is where you breathe in through your nose, let it sit for a minute, and then breathe out like you're trying to fog up a mirror. And it like extends the muscles in the neck, and it makes your voice sound a million times better than just regular breathing. Because after you do that, like your voice sounds incredible.
Why, yes, it does. No, just kidding. But I was trying to not necessarily fog up this little mirror that I have in my toolkit here, but more just trying to figure out what that felt. More of a full release, I guess, wider than a,
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So that technique, the name you described, and it doesn't matter if you get it right, but it sounds rooted in either yoga or martial arts or something. And one of the things that I know that you are definitely rooted is the fandom of the Power Rangers.
Yes.
And as many of you know, Fayetteville Comic-Con is a big promoter of making sure that we always have Power Rangers on our show floor. Everywhere from Tracy Lynn Cruz, Michael Copon, others that Christian has an opportunity to meet and interview as well. And the idea of the that franchise has always resonated really well with fans in Fayetteville, North Carolina. For those of you who are tuning in from somewhere else, possibly watching this broadcast, Fayetteville, North Carolina, located in North Carolina. It's the home to Fort Bragg, the largest military installation on the face of the planet. And in that age range of Power Rangers fans, Power Rangers now in its 24th.
Oh, no, it's like 27, 28.
28th season. definitely has a very wide generational impact. I watched Power Rangers in the 90s. Uh, I enjoy the Power Rangers movies. If I find it, run across it, I kind of lie, but just working with Christian here last year and one of his compatriots in the Rangers in cyberspace, Sean Fritz, I really got back into learning more about um, how the Power Rangers have kind of evolved. But thing I'm really interested in has always been the trends and the characters that have carried through every season in terms of friendship, teamwork. There's always a villain. There's always some sidekicks. There's always things like that. That model really resonates, I think, with people, even if you're now into me closer to 50 than when I first watched in my 20s. So uh, Chris, if you could just give us a little bit, what do the Power Rangers mean to you? Why are you the Power Rangers guy? What led you to that fandom, and what are you really excited about with Power Rangers coming up in the future? Any things that you can add, Key? I'm just going to let you go for a little bit because I'm just interested in learning.
So the reason I got into Power Rangers, I don't remember a time in my life where I haven't watched Power Rangers. It's been in my life since day one. I was born November 8th, 1995. Power Rangers premiered August 28th, 1993. And it's always been a vocal point in my life. And like I said, first season I can remember watching is like Lost Galaxy, but the core message is out through every season, and friendship, teamwork, fighting the villain of the day. And that's something you don't get with a lot of TV shows. And it's gotten me through some of the toughest points in my life because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up in middle school. And that's Power Rangers got me through that. But like later in life, I finally got my own room because me and my brother shared a room. And I was like, you know what? I want to start doing YouTube. I want to start, uh, doing more creative freedom stuff. And I was like, I'm not that creative. The Power Rangers guy sounds good enough. I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. That's what I talk about, but this journey has been crazy. When I started it, I never thought that, hey, at Fayetteville back in 20, I think it was 18, that's where I met Sean. And that's where Power Engines Cyberspace took off because his co-host had just left. So I owe Fayetteville Comic-Con a lot for that. Me and Sean have done a lot. We went to a few conventions. We've gotten tables. We've interviewed actors. We've done so much, and we're so young. And it's just an incredible experience.
And that is one of the things, Christian, that's a great transition to what I'm missing the most, not about just Fayetteville Comic Con, but of other shows I would have attended this spring. And it's having those just interactions with not just guests, but other fans, people who are just coming to the show, who you may dig their cosplay, and you want to say, man, I love your cosplay. I love that season of the Blue Ranger, or I love that property that you're cosplaying from, and just meeting and chatting with a lot of those fans gives an opportunity to just really create a cool space. And I think, and thank you again for being such a great fan and participant and supporter of Fayetteville Comic Con, is that we really try to have that from behind the table, get out, meet people, not just long lines to get an autograph. And so I think we've done a good job in our first 5 years, and plan to continue to get together. But I'm missing that opportunity just to have a fun, quick conversation with some people that I've only ever known on the other side of a video screen.
Yeah, I can totally agree because some of the best experiences in my life is talking to people online and then going to conventions. I go, hey, I know you. And then you hang out and get drunk, and it's the best time of your life. I I don't think any other like experience can live up to meeting some fans at conventions and hanging out with them and just nerding out with them.
Yeah, the second year of Fayetteville Comic Con, I'm just going to tell a quick stories before we met you. I was volunteer for Mike Chaudhry at the time, and went to dinner. And two of our guests were Barbara Goodson and Kerrigan Mann, who was Rita Repulsa and Goldar in the original season of Power Rangers and the Power Rangers movies. And it was just so neat, especially Barbara and talking to her about musical theater and you know, social causes she's interested in, and you know, her career and her life, and just recognizing that people are real people and not just, you know, a character, right? Which I think a lot of shows don't represent their guests in such a way that they represent them as real people. And I think we've done a great job doing that. And I know this past year you had a chance to talk to a whole lot of people. What were some of your favorite moments from the fall show in 2019?
The fall show was an absolutely incredible experience. I got to meet Tracy, who, God, she's amazing. She's an incredible person, but more than that, just the fans, because me and Sean were blessed. Y'all allowed us to have a table at Fayetteville, and just the interactions with people. People would come up and just, oh my God, the Power Ranger helmet. Can I touch it? I'm like, you can do one better. You can put it on. Anytime they would grab a morpher, or whether they were like, can I pick up the morpher? I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine, but you got to do the dance if you grab the morpher. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a rule. And just meeting all those people, and then having Megan next to us, she's absolutely incredible. We still talk, and she's so much fun. And just like meeting the different people there, it's always fun.
You're talking about Megan Rogers of, I think I can't remember the name of her cosplay company, but
Red Doll cosplay.
Red Doll Cosplay. She was an amazing Baroness for us
Mhm.
in the fall, as well as there's a photo that our great show photographer Kendall captured where Megan in Wonder Woman cosplay is kneeling with a little guy in a Superman cosplay, you know, maybe a 2.5-year-old, 3-year-old. I mean, it was a, you know, small toddler of a young gentleman, and that image is just so cool to say that this is what I love about cons. You also mentioned Tracy, and you're referring to, of course, to Tracy Lynn Cruz. Uh, uh, Amazing, amazingly nice person, very approachable, and very, you know, amenable with the fans of the show. And I really appreciate her uh, and that great attitude. Um, Tracy, obviously one of the most famous Yellow Rangers from my memory. I know there's been so many others, but I know that you have a plan that includes some tattoo art of.
Um, yeah, so I already have one tattoo right here, and I plan on getting helmets all up and down this arm of Ranger actors I'm friends with. And I feel like it's going to be full here soon because I'm friends with so many. I shouldn't have said that. I was like, I might get a few, but then like I'm cool with so many of them. It's like, God, this arm's going to be full by the time I'm done. Might have to
a
extend it.
Rainbow of Rangers. That one there, the red is a Red Ranger. That is for I blanking on his name. It's not Christian. It's
Christopher Kamen Lee.
Yeah. I was trying to get the. I was stuck on Christian, your name, obviously.
Yeah.
And Christopher Kamen Lee has been a guest of Fayetteville Comic Con. Tell me a little bit about, you know, his character, his role, you know, why he's, you know, meaningful enough to find his way to your arm.
So, Chris, like, I'm friends with him in real life, and that's really weird to say because you don't think as a kid you're going to be friends with someone you idolize. And just his character in general. I'm going to be real with you. Am I allowed to cuss?
I don't mind.
Okay. Andros in Power Rangers is a jackass, and I love it. He is so cynical. His character was insane. Like, he had the best arc in Power Rangers history. And just seeing him, like, he basically tells the whole team, he's like, I don't need you. I can do this by myself. Like, I love it. Like, it's it just resonated with me. But Chris as a person, he's so nice. He's so cool, but he's super honest too. And it's so funny. But he's actually working on a project right now called Bloodline of the Grid, which is it takes place like 20 years in the future. His character Andros returns, and I can't talk too much about it because I don't know that much about it, but I just know it's a fan film that they're planning on doing, and there's like they have like a couple scenes filmed, but it's gonna be good seeing him with a spiral saber in his hand again.
That will be awesome, and I'm happy that you described him that way, because I think that's one of the points that I really love about differentiating the person from the character and being able to introduce fans to both at a Comic-Con, or as we deal with the fallout of COVID-19 and some more social distancing type things, hopefully able to provide those links to people like you guys who are doing great interaction. And so hopefully fayettevillecomiccon.com is going to become a great conduit for creators like yourself to be able to broadcast and advertise some of these other opportunities that you're having, to give guests the chance to talk about their current projects and things. And that's one thing I've been asking everybody is, you know, what are you doing during all this? So it's great to see that Chris is doing some upcoming stuff. But that point you made about his character being, you know, angsty and how he was, is that thing I was trying to talk about, why the Power Rangers are so cool, because that teenage angst is in everybody's social group. There's always that guy. And I think without that guy and without those emotions, or without some of those attitudes that are, you know, that rough on the outside, you know, super caring on the inside type of things, it wouldn't resonate as well, at least with me, and then my daughters who watch Power Rangers and enjoy it for those reasons. Like, oh, that's just like our group. We have, you know, a nerd, a jock, you know, somebody is somebody, you know, so that's super cool. So just to capture some stuff real quick, because I'm probably going to end up breaking some of this out and doing some promo with it, as well as putting some on the live show. I know that you're going to be joining us as soon as we get the logistics worked out as far as the exact time that you're going to be on interviewing Michael Copon. I believe we're also going to have a little bit of an introduction with a couple other Ranger related actors who are going to join us for that segment. But you know, the other day I had a chance to do some pre-work with Gigi Edgley. People may know Gigi Edgley from Farscape, as well as some other things, but that character Chiana, and listening to her and interacting with her, and her very evident Australian accent that didn't really come through in that character. I wanted to circle this back and talk a little bit more about your advice to aspiring voice artists who are trying to you know, put together reels and tapes and things like that, and get into the business of, you know, something I learned is, you know your voice first before you try a different voice, an accent or a character or stuff. But anything you've learned on that front, Christian? Just any advice?
Yeah, most definitely. I can give people a good advice is don't think you can do it by yourself. You do need to take classes, and that's one thing I was like, I don't want to take any classes, but I've listened to podcasts like Voice Acting Mastery with Crispin Freeland. He will tell you you need to take classes in order to do stuff like this. Like you said, you need to find your own voice. Breathing techniques are important. You're probably breathing wrong right now. That's one thing I had to figure out, but it's just find your voice, take classes, and never stop learning. Always try to improve. When you're in your car, do stupid voices. Who cares? Nobody's going to, like, I do stupid voices all day because I drive for a living. But it helps me out. It helps me find my voice and then find voices I'm good at. So just, like I said, never stop learning.
That's great advice, especially for people who during this time are trying to find other things to do. There's an opportunity to learn anything that you've ever been interested in. You know, that thirst for knowledge, I think, is something that is so evident in the creative world, and those of us in the fandom side of that greatly appreciate everything that everybody does to become masters of those crafts and become those characters. So ending with just some Power Rangers talk. I'm just going to ask just some questions because I'm curious, and you don't have to play favorites or anything, but favorite season of the Power Rangers?
Power Rangers in Space.
Awesome. Why?
Power Rangers in Space, it was a ripoff of Star Wars, and I loved it. They had the Force. Andros could levitate things with his mind. You had the Spiral Saber, which was equivalently a lightsaber. Just a story and the end of the Zordon era. Zordon getting destroyed at the end. Sorry for the spoiler, but it's been out since '99, so you should have watched it by now. But just all of that resonated, and I love space stuff. I love space travel. So
that's awesome. Now, some of the ones I've really enjoyed are the ones that get a little campy. Like I love what was it, Beast Morphers? What was the
Beast Morphers is the current one.
Is the current one, but there was one. What was the one I'm thinking of? After space, after time. Wasn't there a Dino one?
So after In Space, it was Lost Galaxy, then Lightspeed, then Time Force, then Wild Force, and Ninja Storm.
Wild Force. Wild Force is what I'm thinking of. That's a little bit, yeah. any of those, power of a thing has always resonated with me. I've just always really got a kick out of those. The dynamics of the original, Saban, Power Rangers, and then, moving in, has always had some great martial arts things. I know a lot of the people who have played Power Rangers are actually very, adept martial artists.
Mm-hmm.
Who's some of your favorite, fighters? Like what season and what Ranger were your favorites, just in terms of their fighting ability?
So I really love the original Mighty Morphin, the not in suit fights, because those were always incredible. But then you had the fight in RPM, which wasn't even between bad guys; it was between the Black Ranger before he became the Ranger and people in jail, and it was over a slice of Jello, and it was the most incredible fight ever. It's Watch Mojo has a list of like top 10 Power Ranger fights of all time, and that is like number 2 or 3. But just the fact that he was doing all that stuff over a slice of Jello, it's like,
That's
come
awesome.
on. But it's funny.
So that's Watch Mojo top 10 Power Rangers fights. We'll
Yes.
try to dig up the link, and I'll try to add it to some of this. And in exchange, even though it's not Power Rangers, but it's a really cool fight fan base. There's a group in Central North Carolina, Durham. I can't remember their name, but they did this ninja panel at one of the cons, and they showed this great battle that was just with spatulas. That was their weapon, and it was absolutely amazing. I'll try to share that with you as well. Well, Christian, I wanted to thank you for taking some time. I know that you're going to be joining us next Saturday, June 27th, for our live show. I think you're also going to be able to help us a little bit with our marketplace show and our market channel, where we're going to talk a lot with some of our suppliers and vendors about toys and comics and crafts that they make, jewelry, and is there a series of Power Rangers pillows? I don't know, but we're going to find the person that makes the Power Rangers pillows. I don't know if that's the Brianna So Crafty or somebody else, but we want to definitely make sure that we give people the opportunity to still understand what the base experience of a show is. And it's more than just the guest, and it's more than just the cosplay, and it's more than just a shopping experience. It's an opportunity for all of us to come together and talk about our favorite fandoms, or expand on our knowledge of a fandom that we've only been peripherally related to. I was telling somebody a story the other day that I had no idea what One Piece was, even though I had watched some anime, read some manga. I just hadn't crossed One Piece until I saw a kid cosplaying it. I'm like, what character he? And my daughter told me. I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. And then well, look, there you go. And so now I'm, One Piece guy. So keep looking for us. I may put some of this out on promo. Really excited. One of our next guests we're going to be talking to is Afua Richardson, a great comic artist who has been chosen to do a lot of these really cool hip hop and comics covers, as well as a bunch of other really cool art. So Christian, stay safe. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. And everybody else, this is Keith with Fayetteville Comic Con, the most interactive Comic Con on the planet. If it's geek, we got it. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.